Hello, everybody. I'm Dale Pinkert. I'm the anchor here in FX Street's live analysis room. Let's go right to our pre-LAR market roundup. Always start off with the Dixie. So the dollar, definitely the pullback early in the week, I was looking for a correction of this bounce or a correction of a correction. And the S&P is really, the magnitude to the downside was much more extensive than the dollar. And both the dollar and the S&Ps are up a little bit. Here's your visual on the S&Ps, and you could tell that yesterday's down day in the dollar compared to yesterday's down day in the S&Ps are almost like two separate worlds. And here you go. We went real deep, which is what I thought the dollar was going to do. So a bit of a tough call in the dollar here. I don't believe that this little two-day pullback is going to be enough before we ramp up to new highs. So most likely considering this just a short-term bounce inside day, maybe some covering in front of the ECB. I want to remind everyone it's a red event tomorrow, so I guarantee you the market will be here after the ECB. Make sure your equity is. Best guess is perhaps after this inside day, the dollar starts off higher tomorrow, then begins to sell off. I still think we should trade back down towards this 94.5 level, possibly 94. That would be commensurate with the decline that we had in the S&Ps. Let's get to our instruments here. Starting off with Euro USD, we were accurate about at least a bounce in the euro back towards its 1320 level. Actually exceeded it by a bit, but it's really not coming off either. So to me, it looks like the path of least resistance is still to the upside. And once we get through 1350, which is about halfway back, let's look at some of the fibs on the euro here. Okay. So I'm talking about fib retraces from the over the 117 level to this week's lows. Could take us back to 14.5, 115, even before we resume some type of downtrend in the dollar. So I'm still constructive on it. Your line in the sand has to be yesterday's lows. Under 112, I'd get out of the way, because then you open the door to make new lows and even head towards 110. The pound, everyone's pressing the short side of the pound. I'm not sure about that, because we have been diverging all the way back from here, and the downside is losing momentum with RSI here. So be careful if you're short here. I'm not saying get aggressively long, but I still think if I'm right about the dollar continuing to correct to the downside, why can't the pound correct back to 153? And if you really look at how serious the break was from 158 down to here, why couldn't we even have a recovery back towards 155? US dollar yen trying to dig in its heels and head back up. 1925, maybe we're going to get, this was A, this was B with the S&P recovery, and we get a C back up towards the 121 level or so. That's the way that looks. Canada, I still think is going to make new highs. We need some follow through to the downside in crude. I'll be interviewing George Perks, interesting man that I found on Twitter. Good hunting, everybody, and I'll see you in the room.